Yeah, it's like when I took out membership to the New South Wales one. I took out 10 years after the 2008 thing, thinking I'll keep them alive, sort of thing. And then they stopped having the bulletin or something. And so like there was 5 years of no bulletin or something. And then when my membership, my 10-year membership ran out, yeah, I thought they would just keep you going for a couple of years or something. You know, or thank you very much. Your 10-year subscription after the 2008 thing kept us going so that we could eventually finally put these journals you should have got in those 5 years that you didn't get them. We decided to add on an extra 5 years. For those 5 years you didn't get the journal when you paid for the journal and it didn't turn up. We're just going to add those on. That's what I expected to happen. No, no. Very sorry, your membership's ran out. The fact that you had 5 years with no journal, even though you paid for 5 years to have a journal, I thought, you know, it would just have been magnanimous and gracious and just basic bloody common sense. You know, where you want to keep your members happy. I mean, I had the common sense to think that, you know, after the 2008 crash, that, you know, they might be in trouble financially. So if I take out a, you know, oh, and the other thing was with the Victorian, the journal, the last thing that turned up, they had back-to-back issues. Like I've been surmising what's going on. They've gone to like one physical, you know, half the journals of the year. But they've only got 3 journals, I think it is. So every other one is a physical journal, and every other one from those is an online, you know, computer-generated thing. But I surmised that they were actually printing every single issue of the journal. And finally, last one turned up, back-to-back issues. So yeah, spot on, I think. Either that or people have asked them to go and print them all up because they're getting sick and tired of, as I said, I've just got into my first reading glasses. So, you know, I'm struggling now. I like, you know, I like to, if I put it on a computer screen, I want a big screen and blow it up sort of thing. Or I want to sit here with some reading glasses at the right distance and read it there. So a physical journal is more important now than ever. And it would be nice to, even though the physical journal isn't in colour, it's the black and white sort of thing. So apart from the front cover, I think all the colour ones inside are in black and white, whereas if you go online you can see them in colour and you can blow them up to a certain degree sort of thing. And I kept getting the, I'm not really into the Nepenthes, but all the issues that I got, all the physical journals I got seem to be articles about Nepenthes, whereas all the other articles was in the intervening issues, which I had to get online, but I'm sure now, from what happened last time with back-to-back issues, that other people were getting those intervening issues in physical form. So I would have preferred to have had those physical journals rather than all the Nepenthes article ones, because I mean, I'm not against Nepenthes, but you know, I'm all into sundews and butterworts particularly, and then bladderworts after that, I think. And yeah, I mean, everyone seems to gravitate towards Nepenthes, but they're so expensive these days. I thought the idea of tissue culture, that the price would come down. You know, they'd be more readily available. The more exotic species were more readily available in tissue culture, and the price would come down. They'll be cheap to go through quarantine because they just spray the outside of the vials or something like that. But no, it seems like you still have to do the major paperwork for the quarantine, expensive dosh to get through quarantine, and the initial plants are, you know, hundreds of dollars. I mean, what the heck's going on, you know? You said one thing and you're doing another sort of thing, you know. This was your spiel back then about tissue culture, but the reality of today is totally different, you know, and totally juxtaposed to the concept or the ideal of let right be done, I suppose, in a way. But anyway, I think that's about it for this one, and I don't know, it's just the one clip. It usually does, if it does a single clip, 20 minutes max, but I've probably gone over the 20 minutes. But as I said, this country is sort of, almost off with the fairies at the moment, because something just doesn't add up. And yeah, as I said, when the country's in dire straits with all the floods and stuff, you want a bit of a distraction, but the distraction that's come out is totally arse up and doesn't make sense. And that's because of that, it's become more of a distraction than it would normally be. People are talking about it now, and they're still talking about it. Just like this storm we had 5 weeks ago, it's incredible. We've had trees falling over 2, 3, 4, 5 days later after the storm. We're finding other things that we haven't noticed from the storm later on, like with the shed and things like that. So yeah, and we're heading rapidly into a bushfire season. So is it going to have any effect on the coming bushfire season? I don't know. That may sound a bit far-fetched, but remember the Aborigines have this story about Drosophila whittigeri. It always flowers more prolifically and en masse before a major bushfire, like a Ash Wednesday type of bushfire. So they'll flower en masse, and that tells the Aborigines that there's going to be a major fire, and people still can't work out how that is. Whether there's something running out in the soil, which runs out because the leaf litter is building up, and therefore they flower en masse, and then after the fire that's replenished, so they don't flower as often after a bushfire or something like that. I don't know, but they still don't know how it works. Whether it's something to do with, like with the smoke water, it's something to do with cyanide or something, you know. By the time the cyanide breaks down, they can now flower en masse, and that's by the time the cyanide breaks down, that's when you'll have another major bushfire. Don't know. Or somehow the leaf litter builds up to a certain mass, and that can degrade things like the cyanide or something like that, or can plenish the microbes in the soil that can break down the cyanide or something, and therefore the plants flower more prolifically. Now they're not being so inhibited by the cyanide or something in the soil. Don't know. But anyway, I still don't know how it works, but there's just some ideas that how it might work. But as I said, they had this Aboriginal. I'll link the video where I talk about this in the description box. Plus, I'll link the description of. I'll put the storm video in. It's only 4 minutes. That's how long the storm was. It was 4 minutes. The first 3 minutes, fine. It was in the third to the fourth minute. That's when all the damage was. We had the limbs coming off the trees, and they were actually coming through the whiteout and bouncing across the road from behind the whiteout out into visibility. It was really amazing. If you look in the video and you blow it up in your big screen, you'll be able to see that. I mean, I still don't have 4K, but if I had 4K, you'd be able to see it just as I saw it. I've only got like 1080p at the moment. Camera's supposed to do 4K, still don't know how to do it. You would think, you know, that would be the first part of the instruction booklet. How to get, this is a 4K camera, this is how you get 4K. Apparently you have to use a totally different program system or something. So if you learn the basics on 1080p, you've got to go to a completely different system on 4K. It's crazy. There's no common sense in the world, you know. So let's say we have this idea in music of MIDI. That works. You can attach anything to anything, and anything will work. And product across the board sells. You know, I want a sequencer. I'll buy it because I know it's going to fit with the keyboard. I can buy an extra keyboard. I know because it's going to fit. It's going to work. So there's no resistance to parting with a wad of cash. You know. Because you know it's going to be functional, it's just bloody going to work, you know, as we say. Well, we say a bit more crudely down in under. We like things that just bloody fucking work, you know, in Australian parlance. Anyway, okay. We'll see. I don't know. It's not to the same Christmas as my previous videos are before the camera went skew with. But I mean, I've had it 7 years now, so it's time for probably time for a new camera or something, or